We want to thank our friends over at Share Your Genius. Share Your Genius. Our good friend Gene, who helps us produce this show. If you, dear listener, have a podcast that you still edit yourself or someone else edits it and you're like, this could be better, look no further than our good friends at Share Your Genius. Or if you want to start a show and you're not sure who to trust to do it and you're like, I shouldn't do this, I'm not the person to do this, look no further than our good friends at Share Your Genius. You hit up Rachel and you tell her Nick and Erica sent you.
Yep.
All right. What do you want to talk about today?
I want to talk about, when do you reach the point as a solo where you should or could bring on other people? And what does that look like in reality? It's kind of funny because you and I are a duo. We serve solos, and most of our clients grow up to become teeny tiny micro agencies. And I think that all of that gets smushed under the umbrella of solopreneur, and it's confusing, and nobody knows what the hell their business model should look like in terms of people architecture. So I thought we could unpack that a bit today.
The irony is not lost on us.
No,
we know.
We know.
We know. We named ourselves Duo and to serve solos for a reason. We knew. Mm-hmm. We knew. When are you no longer solo? When does it make sense? Well, I think the great irony of all of it is that no one's like ever always totally long. I mean, maybe for like a little bit there, but it's not long until people get help for like accounting and bookkeeping or whatever that is. It's usually like the first thing people should offload, or it's usually, I would recommend it's the first thing you offload if you're not a numbers person. But so most people don't want to be an agency. I think this is an important piece of context here. When you bring up the idea of building an agency, most people are like, hell no. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be an agency. And it all stems from the place of, I worked for an agency and that was shitty and I didn't like it, or I hired an agency and they were shitty and I didn't like it. Whatever it is, no matter which side of the coin it is, most people in our situation who sell B2B services go, I don't want to become that. And they're going to wrap that in the word agency. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's fair. I don't blame them. There are good agencies out there. Like, I came from one and I learned a ton and it was a great experience. And I have a ton of love and respect for the people over there still.
Should we do some definitions before we move on? Like, what do you consider an agency?
So this is like the real interesting part about all of it. Uh-huh. I think there's no real definition. I think it has more to do with the way you make people feel.
Okay.
Like, everyone just has, I know it's like, that's real woo woo, but I think it matters. I think it's true. So most of the time when people have a negative connotation towards the term agency, and it's actually used in a couple of different ways. So like, people hate hiring agencies.
Because like, generally like the trope is, I'm going to get sold by someone super senior that knows what's going on, and then I'm going to get passed off to a very junior account manager and then all the junior people who don't know what they're doing are going to execute the work. And like, fingers crossed someone senior looks at it. They might not. And then we get what we get. And that's that. Sorry, the phrase just popped into my...
Exactly right.
You get what you get, and we don't get upset, is what I say to my toddlers all the time.
You do get upset.
But in this case, you get what you get and you do get upset, is what happens here.
Yeah, and then you salute, and then you burn a bunch of money on it.
Mm-hmm. So that's the trope.
So that's the trope. And the mechanics of someone senior sells you, it's a great sales experience, and then you get passed off. And that concept is what people hate buying, and that's what everybody we know, the majority, and all of our clients and just our friends that do this work, that's what they don't want to become.
Yep.
That's the whole thing. They like being in the work. And so when people think, well, how do I grow this business? How do I make a boatload of cash? Well, I have to get out of the work. And to some extent, that is very true. But I don't think it's like the first thing we do to that extent. Because people generally buy from you because of you.
There's a massive external pressure, I believe, as well. I don't know if it's culturally, societally, I don't know what the right phrase is, but there's this kind of magic genie if you get out of the work and you can prove that what you've built is valuable without you, then you can have this magical moment of an exit and become a millionaire. And then you get to put 1x or 2x or whatever exit in your headline, and suddenly you're cool. And I think that there's a lot of pressure that if you are the magic sauce and that's what people buy, that's great until you think, well, what am I building? And should I not be the magic sauce? And it's like this tension that people feel. So I think we should talk through that too, because we have a pretty strong POV on how we believe that solo should scale.
Yeah. So couple things to consider going into this. One is, what are your goals? If your goal is to build a business that you can exit from, that you can sell, then you're going to take different actions. And yes, like you might try to get yourself out of the work sooner, but you also might become an agency. Dun, dun, dun.
The Scarlet A.
Yeah. Now here's the other side of it though. And this is an interesting thing that I've noticed, is that a lot of people will call themselves an agency to try and sound bigger than they really are.
Fascinating
so
stuff.
They'll be a one-person agency. I've seen a lot of this. Back when I changed my positioning from selling to agencies to selling to solopreneurs, I cannot tell you how many one-person agencies reached out to me and be like, oh, I noticed that you don't sell to agencies anymore. Am I still a fit? It's like, what? Like, how are you an agency if there's only one person?
You just have. Do they have contractors and then they just don't consider that help?
No,
like,
I don't know. I think it's just a thing that people want to be. Like, it's a positioning thing, and they consider themselves an agency. So there's like the two extreme sides of this. There are the people who want nothing, will do anything to prevent themselves from becoming an agency, and there are some people that are like, if only people will see me and treat me as an agency.
It's fascinating.
It's bizarre.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. It's fascinating. Okay. So the purpose of this is to understand, like, well, one, when do you get out of the work? When does it make sense to get out of the work? And what are we trying to build here? We believe, and what we have found to be true for our clients, is that the micro agency model seems to be a really great model. It's really effective. Yeah. It means one delivery pod, right? We've seen it take most people up to about 2.5 to 3 million in total capacity, depending on certain things. But like one delivery pod with the founder at the helm, and life is good. Now, there's some might say, but you can't sell that business, or you can't exit that business. One, if you have a $2.5 or $3 million business, why would you exit? Just hang on, just hang out. It's probably fine. You can certainly replace yourself and get out of the work. That's not impossible. But I think people try to replace themselves too soon, before some of the systems and the actual structure is built in. Like, we have a client that removed himself from a bunch of client accounts, but those client accounts came back or ended up churning at about 3 to 6 months, whereas the accounts that he still ran were still rolling like 6 to 9, 9 to 12 months in certain circumstances. So almost double the LTV on these clients that he ran. And you said, well, why do we think that is? Well, they don't have the systems or the knowledge or whatever, all of the institutional infrastructure to help them run this account in a similar way and to provide a similar level of service. So when we try to get out of that work too soon, it can backfire. So those are some things. So let's define some terms though. We have found that one delivery pod, there's a point when you would split the pod, or you would generate a second pod. And that's like depending on how far you want to go, right? When is enough? How big of a business do you want to build? That's for you to decide though. It's not for anyone else to decide. But the idea is, like, if we can have one delivery structure that has a few people that do the button clicking in the asset and deliverable creation, and you run the strategy, and you run as the founder, as the person who built all of the initial stuff, you run the strategy, you maintain the client relationships, you're responsible for marketing, business development, and sales. We have found that balance to be like perfect. Now, the way you integrate the contractors also matters. We talk about the way that we would consider it, like a horizontal integration or vertical integration. So let's define this. Like how does this actually make sense? Let's think about it this way. Say you run a demand gen service and you offer LinkedIn ads and Google ads to your clients. Now, as you start to scale, there are two ways, or as you start to grow the business, there are two ways to do it. There's a vertically integrated way. So you have contractors, and you have one contractor that manages one account in its entirety. That means they do both LinkedIn and Google. Whether or not you do the client comms and all that stuff, that whatever, doesn't make a difference in this example. But that person runs the entire account, and they might be able to manage, 5 accounts in total. The other way that we have found to be more effective is a horizontal integration. So you have one person that handles LinkedIn across all accounts and one person that handles Google across all accounts. We have seen that model just produce a higher volume, more effective quality of work, or like a higher quality of work, and produce more effective results from multiple clients. And for that reason, it also means that their capacity is also higher. So instead of only being able to manage 5 clients, you might be able to manage 15 clients.
I love it because there's the specialized part of it that comes into it, where they're just focusing on one thing that they're really laser good at. And I want you to talk about the comp model in this too, though, because when you allow contractors to get paid more depending on how many accounts they're on, it's very incentivizing to get really good at what you're doing and make sure that you are just like laser focused on the one thing you're doing so that you can do that across more accounts, as opposed to doing all of this work for a very small amount of clients. And you're kind of stuck, capped at whatever number that is. And there's no way that you could ever expand beyond that. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, I think standard comp models create a perverse incentive. We have lopsided incentives here. You as the business owner want your contractors to be as efficient as possible. Your contractors, if you're paying them hourly, which is what most people do, if you pay your contractors hourly, they're incentivized to move as slow as possible. Why would they work really fast and do more work if they're going to get paid the same no matter how many hours they work? And so someone might say, we'll pay them more per hour, but the same problem exists. It's just bigger now. And so what we have found to be really effective is having people comp their contractors on an outcome basis. Or more specifically, like a client basis. So basically, we're all aligned. Our incentives are aligned here. The more accounts this business can manage, the more accounts you can manage as a contractor for this business, the longer they stay with us, the more money everybody makes. So a simple example would be is that for every LinkedIn ads account you manage, we're going to pay you $1,000 a month. Now, we have clients where their contractors are managing 20 accounts a month.
Yep.
That person makes 20 grand a month.
It's not bad.
That's not bad. That doesn't suck.
It doesn't suck
at all. That does not suck. And guess what? If he wants to manage 30 accounts, guess how much money he's going to make? And if he does a really good job and the clients are really happy and the clients like them and all those things, he will be able to maintain earning that much money for a long period of time. That we have found to be a simple and the absolute most effective model, right? So we need to align our economic incentives with our contractors. And now this model, like there are certain roles that we wouldn't do this with. There's a certain volume of work that we might not do this with, or like a certain level of there are certain, like in these, some of our clients have flex roles where each contractor might be hitting their capacity at 20 accounts, but they're like, we have 3 that are about to close. So what do? Do we bring on another contractor and cap everybody, or like full person to cap everybody? Or do we put in like a flex role that we really only need a little bit of support that's going to get us over the finish line? And so there are certain situations where an hourly person makes sense. But when you have someone that's fully integrated, like part-time, and you're trying to ramp, it can make sense to comp hourly. So this model, it's not for every situation, no matter what. Although there's various different ways to apply it. It's not just this one. And we see clients do it across all different types of deliverables and roles and ways that they integrate them. But it makes life for everyone so much easier because now we're all incentivized by the same thing. Can we get the work done? Because if we can get the work done and we can understand how much work there is and how much room we have, we can sell more stuff and we can all make more money together.
Yeah.
So
the mindset of the person you hire, I think, matters a lot too. Like most of the people that we support only hire other founders or people who are ready to become a founder because there is like a drive within that person. There's kind of a crazy that you can't teach someone else. You just have to have that drive to go make it work, go make a lot of money. And so even if this founder is only working for you, they are still running their own business and trying to hit their own goals. And that plays a massive role in the incentivization part of it all. The employee mindset is much more generally, I'm happy to make this. And not that they don't want to make more, but there's less of a fire to push, I would say, in the majority of it. I'm not trying to knock employees. I'm just saying that there's a bit of a crazy that founders have where there's a risk involved where I'm okay. I'm willing to make the trade of if I make this work, I can make exponentially more. And if I don't, I will make exponentially less as opposed to kind of a baseline. I hope that didn't offend anyone. Like I respect the baseline if you want to have that kind of security. Like I get
there's nothing wrong with a salary.
But there is a bit of a craziness that you and I have, that the people we work for have, that obviously we're drawn to because that's what you kind of have to be a founder. It's a risk reward model of life.
Yeah. And the risk reward is also transferred or in some part to the contractors because there's more risk. Like we could earn less, clients could leave and we could earn less, but there's also way more reward. It solves the same issue that salaried employees face. Like I'm just going to keep getting more accounts. This is why people hated working at agencies. I'm just going to get more accounts. I'm going to make the same amount of money.
Mm-hmm. God, it's bringing back some trauma for me, honestly. When it wasn't an agency, but it was a startup, and I was a project manager, and I had X many clients, and I was doing one half of the work, and then there was another account manager that was doing the other half, and they switched up leadership and decided to merge the roles. So suddenly, I had to do double the amount of work for the same amount of clients, and I was like, "This is crazy! Like how am I ever going to?" And there was no pay raise or anything.
Right.
It was insane. And then I ended up quitting because I was like, "Fuck this!" And that's what happens.
That's exactly the point.
Yeah.
You ended up quitting because you're like, "Fuck this! Who cares?
Why would I do this?
Be here?
Why would I grind this hard? Why would I work double? Now I have to do double for the same amount of this is crazy. Anyway.
Yeah, it's absurd.
Yeah, it's absurd.
So this is why people don't like the agency model in general, right? And so we believe that, and look, by the way, have anyone ever heard of a commissioned salesperson? Salespeople are comped on outcomes and stuff all the time. That's how they're paid. Mm-hmm. This little thing called commission. So it's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. And I believe that everyone should be comped that way in some regards. So here's the point. When we align incentives, it creates a different experience for you as the business owner. And it also de-risks stuff because you're like, oh, well, if I take people on full time and then thing goes down, like we lose clients, and then how are we going to pay these people? Takes a lot of that pressure off. I just interviewed my friend Seth Waite for 1,000 Routes. That'll come out in a few weeks from now. But one of the things he told me, he grew an agency to 20 million and sold it, did a proper exit. But he was like, I only hired founders because I can teach them the skills, but I can't give them the ambition and the motivation. So to your point, finding people, oftentimes our clients will find other freelancers or other solopreneurs And those people, not that they want to go in-house in some respects, like they want to get another job, but those people are motivated in the same ways that you and I are and everyone else is. So
Yeah.
it was interesting to hear Seth, talk about how hiring founders was kind of like, he was like, that was our secret sauce. It's like we hired founders.
Is he happy that he scaled to 20 and sold? Would he do it again?
I asked him that, and he is happy, but he's also like him at Schaefer now, like it's 3 of them, and they're not building to sell it. They're happy doing the work, running a micro agency, one pod business. The 3 of them just servicing all accounts, like a horizontal integration, and the way that we describe it. They're not a client of ours for the record, but like he's doing the model. He's running his own model, and he was like, yeah, like it's a much chiller life to just build this business, make great money, spend time with my family, than it is to try and build something to sell. Like he's like, also I like doing the work. I like creating content. I like selling the stuff. I like talking to the clients.
I gotta pause you there.
It's fun.
That's the thing. Like I would say every single one of our clients, I can't think of someone actually who's an exception, likes doing the work and isn't mentally ready to build something to sell. That could change, but they really like it and they don't want to stop doing the work. And when you're building something to sell, your job changes from being in the work and delivery and growing the business to managing people. That's just the truth of it.
And most people don't want to manage people.
No, managing people is terrible.
I mean, some people like it. No knock on them, but like I don't like it. It's not for me. But
I don't mind managing people for like a small part of my day if I need to. I've done it, but I don't want it to be my whole job. And that's what it basically becomes.
We found that like triaging task management, it becomes the bottleneck.
Yep.
Project management becomes the bottleneck. And so systems matter greatly in this model, much more because you're dealing with other people here. Like we need a system that works for everybody, not just for the founder type of thing.
Yep.
So the question in the beginning though was when?
Yeah, when.
And we went into like the what do you do?
It's good though. It's good. It's good context.
It's good. It's important.
So now that we know where we're going,
it's important.
Let's back up because most of us are probably at the phase where it's like, well, I'm either alone
is now the time,
or I have an EA, right? So like, what do we do next?
Well, we wrote about this in the revenue wall in excruciating detail. So I don't want to rehash it in a ton, but I think this is the setup. Basically, what we have found is that there's a tipping point somewhere around somewhere between like 20 and 50K a month, depending on exactly what you're doing for work, or exactly what you're selling, and depending on your personal circumstances and personal tolerance for the work. Something happens when you hit what we call the revenue wall, and basically you're like, I cannot do more work without sacrificing something I don't want to sacrifice. I might have to punch more into my personal time. I might not be able to spend more of the time with my kids, or I might have to miss dinner with my family, or I don't want to do this for whatever reasons. We've talked to founders who are like, they're doing 35K a month and she's working 3 to 5 hours a day. And she was just like, I'm just really happy. Yeah. I don't want to, she's like, I don't have kids or anything, but I just don't want to work more. And that's fine. Whatever your tolerance is and whatever it is. And then there are some people that are like, if the money's there, they're like, I'll close the deals and I'll work more hours and I will push further and further because I want to. And that's okay too. There's no wrong answer. It's just whatever you're into. But at some point you're going to hit the wall and you're going to go, I've given all I can give. I've given all I want to give. How far do I want to go? And if I want to go further, what do I need to do? And so generally this happens at a revenue milestone. At least this is the easiest way for people to identify where they're at. And you're basically like, I can't do any more.
Yep.
I'm bogged down. And then marketing starts to slip, sales start to slip, and then you end up in this super lumpy revenue cycle that everybody hates because you're so focused on client work that the marketing doesn't happen and blah, 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 blah. Okay, so usually around there is when it happens. We have our standardize, delegate, automate framework where we believe you should apply some pressure to open up some capacity and room in your life to decide, hey, if I want to make more money, or if I want to get my time back or whatever it may be. But when tends to come down to the monetary milestone. And there's an accompanying amount of like time out of your day that comes with doing that work. And once you start to standardize, delegate, and automate these things, you realize, hey, we just bought back a bunch of time. Now I have room. Do I want to take on more clients or do I want to hang out? A lot of people choose to take on more clients.
It's interesting.
People love money.
Just to kind of get even more specific. Yes, you hit a revenue milestone and you feel like you can't take on more, but to describe that, like this is what's happening with an existing client. You hit a milestone and you're having really good best fit ICP coming to you, either inbound or via referral. And you look at your calendar and you go, uh-oh, I want to, and I actually can't. Like, it's not like I will push more, like I cannot push more. And then you have this, holy shit, if I say no because I don't have any more time, what does that mean? And you have to really look at your business and say, am I willing to say no? I mean, sure, you can stagger start dates and all these things. But what does it feel like to say no to something that I want to say yes to? And if that is an extremely painful feeling, that's generally the moment where you're like, I got to go right now. I got to move. I got to get people. And so what we try to advise is before you hit that scary, like, uh-oh, someone needs me right now and I don't know what I'm going to do. Think about, okay, can I take on more? And what would it feel like and look like? And that's generally, I would say, the moment where it's like, let me start looking around. Like, it's better to hire people when you're not in a fire. But you can see a fire coming. It's better to hire someone before you're literally getting burned by the flames, because it's just a crazy way to onboard people. It's not impossible, obviously, and we can help people through it, and we do, and we are, but we talk about this all the time too. Like, these are the questions we don't stop to ask ourselves because we're just doing stuff. But when the positioning suddenly, like with this client, the positioning is suddenly just locked in, like we hit that moment of, oh, this is it. The marketing is working. The referral train is working. All systems are a go. And she's like, uh-oh, what do I do now? It's just me still. And I have, 2 young kids and I'm working too much. Like, I'm working 3 hours a night after the kids go down. Like, this is not my life. Like, I got to fix this.
Yeah, well, one of the things we see is that without the bench, like, it's good to build a bench of people, and you don't need like 6 people. You need like 1 or 2 people.
Yeah.
Now, how do you decide like who to find and who to put on the bench? Well, generally it comes down to like a couple basic things. What are some of the things that you're doing a lot of? So sometimes it's really easy. LinkedIn ads. Sometimes it's a little bit more nebulous, like, well, there's a variety of deliverables and like it's really heavily front loaded and this and that. And I have all this calendar management. My inbox is a mess. And it's like, well, do you need a LinkedIn ads specialist or do you need a real high octane EA?
Yeah.
Something like that. One thing we don't encourage people to do, and again, like, there's nothing wrong with any of this stuff, but something that we have found just makes people's lives easier, is spend more on good people. And it's like people who are more senior. This is just our preferred method. Like, there's nothing wrong with hiring some more junior people. I think there's a time and a place for that. But depending on the type of work you're doing and where you are, like, it might be more work for you to ramp a junior person in certain circumstances than it is to ramp a more senior person, like a point solution. Because what we're trying to do is get your time back so we can either increase our capacity or at least take some delivery burden off of you. So we have clients that have some more junior people and like a coordinator level stuff or like these kind of flex roles. There's nothing wrong with that, but the way we utilize and the way we deploy the talent matters greatly. So it's like oftentimes if a junior person is running an entire account is when people feel the pain of
that's
that
when they're
hire.
like, are you an agency? Generally, I'd say that's when the agency trope comes in.
Yeah, like they feel the pain of that hiring decision versus having that person support senior people. That seems to be a much more effective deployment of the talent. And people tend to be just happier. Like, senior people are also generally generally, this is like a broad brushstroke, but like they have managed people in the past in some way, often. They're deeper into their career, and so they're better at delegation. So they can help bring the more junior people up. Right? These are just like simple concepts, but
Also, I'd be remiss not to say Claude Code just came out a couple weeks ago. Well, a year ago, but in my world.
It's been out forever.
Oh, in my world, it came out a few weeks ago. I discovered it.
Oh, it became usable to me.
Yeah, it's got like a little birthday hat on, and I was like, "What's up with that?" And it's like, "Oh, it's a year old. Wow, how have I not been here?"
It does have a little birthday hat on it.
It's cute. It's a cute little birthday hat. Anyway, my point is this: there are certain things that if you're drowning, you can absolutely just automate the shit out of right away. Like going back to this client, she's like, I don't keep my tasks anywhere. Like I'm too frazzled to keep tasks. And you and I have a thing set up where it's like it reads our transcripts and creates tasks for us automatically in Notion after every client call. Like we don't have to worry about things. Like these are like very basic EA tasks that you really don't need a human for, that you can just automate today.
Sorry, EAs.
No, but you still need EAs, but like you don't need an EA to be on every call or listen to every transcript and create tasks. Like it's very easy for a robot to do tasks like that right now. Another thing that I love is keeping track of pipeline, which is, I don't know who you would outsource to do that, but who's in the pipeline and do I have a call booked with them and do I need to follow up? All of these like biz dev things, we've automated these morning briefs now. We get Slack messages with what our monthly revenue is, like who's in the pipeline, do we have calls with them, what calls do we have in our calendar today, like what's the meeting prep that we have to do, here's the like all of it. You can just automate these things very easily with tools like Claude Code and N8N and things like that. So I just have to say I'm kind of obsessed. I'm not like pro using AI for everything. I still believe you should hire very senior people and pay them very well, but there is a lot that you can automate that's very cool and very fun and very fast.
Oh yeah. No, a lot of it comes down to like, do I have the time to sit around and learn how to use Claude Code? Like you figured it out and then
I wasted a lot of time.
You need to show me. You wasted a ton of time trying to figure. Well, it wasn't. But, a waste.
Well, it wasn't a waste, but I spent a lot of time. I was up until like 3 a.m. many nights in a row.
Yeah, and I was not.
But
I was like, Eric, I feel like a total idiot. Well, I do too, but I was like, I feel like a total idiot. Like I have no idea like what's going on right now. And you were like, okay, let me just like show you. And you spent like an hour getting up to speed, and I was like, oh, okay, now I can do this.
Yep.
But that like made all the difference.
Yep.
That made a huge difference for us. Now, granted, like we're two people. Mm-hmm. Most people are not two people. They're one they're one person. and they don't have another half to do these things. And so there's definitely a lot of value in finding someone else to help you. We joke, one of our clients has an EA she's phenomenal.
So
she's probably the highest octane EA I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And they call her keeper. They're like, you have to check with my keeper in order to like decide what I can get on the calendar. Like, because so it's like, it's not just the clicking of the buttons and managing the calendars and doing all that stuff, like in the task management, like it's having a really high octane EA, it can help clear the cognitive load for you. So it's not just like, because we've had clients that go, I have an EA, I have my task list, like I'm so organized, but the cognitive load is still too much. Mm-hmm. Like no amount of creating lists and being like, I got to get this out of my head has solved the problem.
Yep.
Right. It's because you're just, there's a sense of worry that comes with like, I have to deliver all of this, or can I deliver all of this? And I think there's the more infrastructure that you create over time, like just by doing, it's not like, oh, like one thing we've tried to do, and I see it a lot of people try to do, and it doesn't really work, is to try and build the infrastructure before you need it or before you've done a thing.
Yeah. Because
it just ends up being wrong.
Yeah.
And you go, no, I have to like build it for the task in the moment that I'm doing it so that I know what it should look like. So I know and then I can reverse engineer it and like turn that into a system. I can be able to like automate that piece, but to try and build something before you've ever done it or needed it, like before you've done it manually, it tends to just fall apart. I don't know. This has been my experience.
Yeah. I mean, it's always a bit of a chicken egg situation of when do you bring people in? I'm going to just return to my metaphor. Like, do all the things first. And then if you see a fire in the distance, start to get ahead of bringing people in before you're inside the fire. It's not a very eloquent metaphor, but it works for my brain.
People ask, they go, well, where do I find such a person? Who do I trust? Who do I go to? How do I find this person? You ask. You go and you ask people.
Yep.
Like, do I post to LinkedIn? I mean, you could.
Ugh, don't do that. It's
We've had
terrible.
people do that.
It's a tough one. We've done it for a few people, but you just always end up with so many
Inundated.
You're just inundated and you have to sort through it. It's much better to go to your network and see who's around.
Yeah.
In my experience.
Yeah, I would ask. It's the easiest way. I mean, if you're looking for like good EAs, we've had clients with good success using some of the, like there's like companies that place them. And we've heard good things with stuff like that. But like if you want like you need a Google Ads person, you probably can find one in your network. Now, we have had clients go on Upwork. That was a crazy one. He's like, yeah, I had to interview like 15 people on Upwork. It took forever, but I finally found like a really good person. And that's certainly an option.
You never know.
You never know. I mean,
The more specific you are on
really
sites
good
like that,
people.
the better. Like, you have to be very specific about what you're looking for.
Yeah. He said he seems to have found a few really good people doing that through Upwork.
Yep.
So, not mad about that. That's certainly an option.
Should anyone, Nick, be W-2?
Not now. Not now. Not in the game that we're playing.
Yeah. Contractors definitely for the win.
I think right now, for the micro agency model that we're helping people build, I think like there's a time and a place to go W-2. This is not it.
Yeah.
Because I want people to feel the sense of stability that the business will maintain what it's been doing for an extended period of time. But I also want the freedom. Like, there's a certain obligation that people operate in when they have W-2 employees, and there's a certain obligation that people operate as a W-2. And I don't like that. I don't like that dependency, and I don't want anyone to feel dependent in any way. Like, we build our program and we help our clients, but like, in the way that we build is with the outcome and the goal is that they can be free. Yeah. From us, free from their own business in whatever ways that they want. And part of that is also structuring the business and the compensation plans and the team and the ways that we interface with them accordingly. And so I don't think W-2 is the way for those reasons, at least right now. That might change, and there might be like a size of the business becomes where that might make more sense. But right now, when we're talking about a micro agency with one founder, one or two founders, and 1 to 3 contractors, maybe 4 contractors, I don't see it.
Yeah. Cool.
I would rather people be free. I think that makes more sense because they're free to do whatever they want.
I like that.
No dependency.
I mean, there's just like a big fear around hiring. There's like a whole limiting belief and fear of what if I hire the wrong person? What if I make a mistake? How do I let go of people? I mean, there's just all of these like mental scaffolding that you kind of have to, I feel like people face. That might just be another topic we could delve into now or another time. But I think some people are really scared to let go of their revenue, what's going in their pocket, their profit. We didn't talk about margins. Like, we recommend that, you try to keep your margins still around 70%.
Oh yeah.
And if you...
Yeah, but hold on. Like, the thing with bringing someone in to do any of this stuff is you have to accept that there are other people out there that are way fucking better than you at something, or whatever the thing is.
Yeah, that's the limiting belief. No one else can do what I do. If I let anyone else do it, it's all going to fall apart. We've heard that a bunch.
Yeah, no one's as good as me at this. And it's like, yes, there's people who are just as good, if not better. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay. Like, and this is also why we really are pretty firm on, like, don't give up the relationship. The relationship matters the most in a lot of these situations.
The relationship with who?
With the client. Like, don't give up the relationship with the client. Like, still continue to run the account. And also, don't just let people blindly send shit to clients. Like, QA the work. Somebody like, oh yeah, duh. QA the work. What are you doing? Why are you letting your contractors unvetted send shit to clients? Like, that seems preposterous to me. So there's certainly a whole host of limiting beliefs around, like, how can someone else do this the way that I do it? And I'm guilty of some of this. Like, as we grow this business and we go, how do we expand our capacity? Like, where do we get back time? Because, like, as a coach, I'm like, well, how do I, like, transfer the whatever it is that I do just to someone else? How do we give someone else the same information set that I have so that they would come to the same conclusions and do all the same things, right? What we consider intuition, like, I know a thing, like, you know a thing. So how do we have someone else create content in the same ways that you would do it? And those are the things that we're trying to figure out here. No, we haven't necessarily had a capacity issue, so it's never really come up, and we're not really trying to build this thing to sell it.
Yep.
But I do think that it definitely is something that we're working on, and we're trying to figure out, like, well, where do we, like, we have people on the back end that do some certain things for us, but they're also, like, we run the relationship, and the majority of our work is done on calls. And so that's where we're exploring, like, how is there a way to re-swizzle that? And we'll find out.
We'll find out. All right. I think that's a good place to land this plane. Until next time, my friends.
Till next time.